Hi, thanks for joining me for Selfseeds Through the Eyes of the Horse. And I'm headed out on Nador. We're headed up the little hill to do some work around the hay field. And it's a beautiful, beautiful day in Carbondale, Colorado. I'm loving riding on the ranch. It gives a lot of flexibility to working on a lot of the different self-seeds, whether it's self-seeds fitness, self-seeds emotions, self-seeds flexibility, balance, weight distribution. It's all awesome. And I would say all of this is highlighted through self-seeds partnering. And in this case, partnering today and now with Nador. So one of the big challenges of riding on the freshly cut hay field is trying to stay out of the freshly cut hay. So with all rides, I always begin in the walk. I'm getting a sense of the feel of the horse, where his mind is, developing a basic rhythm, and I'm feeling for his length of stride, the swing of his rib cage, the push from behind, the oscillation of the neck. And I'm working with that as a baseline before I pick the reins up. Now, of course, if there's a safety issue, then I may need to pick the reins up. But in this case, I always like to start the ride observing the horse and getting a sense for what is the feel of that horse for the day and for the moment, so that as I add to the work, shorten the reins, go to different gaits, I try to have a baseline every day. And I really like to see what is the horse's confidence, how he or she is taking in the environment, and also a big one is the general enthusiasm for the work and what we're doing. So as you can see from Nador's ears and how the body's moving, I would say there's a good check mark by a lot of those for a great start. He stepped in a gopher hole at the last place, and I think we've decided it probably was just a little bit of a twisted ankle. So I'm just getting back now to doing regular trot work, and I'll be looking at adding the canter this week. Now he's also been out being with his friends in his turnout and in the field, but horses make different choices when they're on their own stepping versus a rider holding the horse in a line and being more in charge of where every step is going. Good or bad, is that there's a responsibility to that. So now we're off to work on the trot. And as I start out on the trot, I'm just looking again at the feel of the horse, the general rhythm, always thinking about the rhythm in each gait and how the horse is manifesting the rhythm and the length of stride and all those ingredients that are for the horse. And in this case, as I'm starting out, I'm just giving him a chance to get used to the footing. Actually, it's amazing after the grass has been cut, the ground is wonderful. It's got a little bit of cushion from the grass. It's firm but not hard, and it's a nice opportunity to work out here with a little bit of up and a little bit of down. Sometimes we have deer and things in the little section of grass off to the right, so sometimes there's surprises, but so far there haven't been any. And I'm just looking again, not making the horse too round, but just enough that as I begin to shorten the reins a little bit, I create a little more roundness and up the quotient for throughness and straightness. And taking full advantage that I'm out here, giving the horse an opportunity to experience the openness of a wide open setting without any fences. But the irony is, well, whether I'm riding the step in a field or I'm riding the step in an arena, I'm riding the step. And so it's more that I would say for people, it's a psychological aspect to being out in the open like this. But if I've conditioned the relationship to the horse, then every step is meaningful. And it doesn't matter whether I take a step in somewhere with a fence or I take a step out in the open, that all of them become equal and important. One of the things that's important when I'm headed downhill, there's a little slope, is looking at the biomechanics of not riding the horse on the forehand going down the hill. So that means the horse needs to pick up through the withers, the base of the neck, sit a little bit behind in order to navigate not just going down the hill, but how the horse is carrying itself down the hill, managing its weight distribution and balance. And yes, you need those same qualities in your half halt, riding on a level surface. But I find being out in the field, whether I'm riding in Southern California or I'm here in Colorado, that all of this small changes gives a really nice natural dynamics to the riding and an awesome test to what the horse understands and how he or she can listen to the circle of the aids. And so then the decisions that are made while out riding are tested, but tested in a really nice way because you're working with all the natural changes in the footing, in the angle of the hillside, the type of terrain. Is there a ditch? Are there rocks? And it reminds me a lot of my original days of doing competitive trail riding through NATRC and AERC. And so far, Nador is being just awesome, working on all the different aspects of Selfseeds. As I said before, it's just a beautiful day and a privilege to be able to ride in such a wonderful setting and to share that with my partner, Nador.